Welcome back to State of Belief Radio. I'm Welton Gaddy. For those of you who have listened to this show for a long time, you've heard me say many, many times, real religious freedom is in trouble. A lot of people talk about religious freedom. We now have to distinguish all of that stuff for conversations about real religious freedom. Thankfully, a Supreme Court ruling this past Monday gives us a perfect opportunity to let you understand by distinction real religious freedom by what some other people call religious freedom. Those of us who remain dismayed by last year's Supreme Court ruling in Hobby Lobby, a decision that radically rewrote the rules of religious freedom in America, were anxious when the Supreme Court took up another religious freedom case this year, EEOC versus Abercrombie & Fitch stores. The latest case concerned a young Muslim woman who was denied a job at Abercrombie & Fitch because she wore a hijab, an article of clothing that would have been in violation of Abercrombie's uniform policy. While Abercrombie suspected that she wore the headscarf for religious reasons, they claimed they were not discriminating against her because they did not explicitly know that she would need an exemption. When the Supreme Court took this case, I have to tell you, I was nervous. I was nervous that they would use this opportunity to say that the beliefs of bosses trump the beliefs of their employees. I was worried the justices might stand only for the religious majority and not religious minorities. And I have to admit, I feared they might take this opportunity to carve out a new set of policies to justify discrimination on the basis of religion. But last Monday morning, I was pleasantly surprised. The court ruled in favor of the type of narrow, reasonable exemption that would allow the plaintiff to work at Abercrombie while maintaining her religious observance. This exemption hurts no one. This exemption jeopardizes no one else's rights. It's simply about allowing a woman a small accommodation that allows her to practice her religious faith while fully participating in public life. This is what I mean when I talk about real religious freedom. Religious freedom should complement our civil rights. It shouldn't conflict with them. Religious freedom should empower people to act as equals in the public square, not sacrifice the freedom of all for the beliefs of some. Religious freedom can only be our first freedom if it brings us together in community rather than pitting us against one another. This is the vision of religious freedom that we lost in Hobby Lobby and that we see continually degraded by attempts to pass discriminatory legislation in places like Indiana, Arkansas, and my home state of Louisiana. The religious right plays to the worst impulses of its constituency by turning religious freedom into a weapon to be used against the rights of others, to help bosses deny benefits to their employees, to justify businesses refusing service to lesbian and gay couples. Look, we've already seen the religious right claiming the Supreme Court's decision last week as a victory. They're saying that the court once again ruled for religious exemptions. They're saying that the court made it harder to limit anyone's religious expression for any reason. And they will most certainly say that if a Muslim woman is entitled to wear a hijab in her workplace, then a Christian caterer should be allowed to refuse to serve at a same-sex wedding. Folks, it's up to us to know better than that and to speak that better out loud. It's on every person of faith and those of no particular faith to see through the lies and misdirection of those who distort the First Amendment. We know that there's a version of religious freedom that respects and strengthens the rights of all, and we know that what its opponents would have us believe that the Constitution mandates is not freedom at all. The Supreme Court has highlighted that distinction with their decision in EEOC versus Abercrombie. They've shown us two types of religious freedom: the equal rights of people of all faiths they defended last week versus the discrimination promised by last year's decision in Hobby Lobby. We have the choice between these two visions, and it's up to us to make sure that a vision of equality, dignity, and respect wins the day. That's the real religious freedom.